Okay, remember this isn't the training. More training will be distributed when we announce the creation of the applicant courses. This is really just an overview, and I hope it's useful to provide one whether you're returning to this process, whether you did the applicant courses last year, or if you're new to the university or new to the role of program leader. I'm hoping it's just useful to run through the process and to just remind ourselves what's expected from you and from the applicant courses. So here we are in the blueprint. This is the template from which all the applicant courses are created, and if you recall, just to be clear, we have one applicant course per faculty, and here in the centre of the landing page we have a table where you can create links to the pages for your individual program pages, or your individual program information. And when you're doing that, you're likely to be using one of these three templates. Actually, the vast majority of you will be using one of the first two. I can't actually remember why we created the third one. This is what it looks like, but if you requested it, presumably you remember. So as I say, we'll be looking at the first two today. If I look at the first one, you get a sense straight away of what's expected. On this template page, it's envisaged that you'll be putting all the module information onto a single page using these subheadings. You can change the subheadings if you want to, but I'll just make sure you do that with the agreement of other program leaders in your department, so that there's a bit of consistency. Students are bound to compare. But really, once you've started using these templates, they're yours to do with as you will. Now, the people who used this template often ended up putting quite a lot of content into here under these subheadings, and they use different types of media. And as the amount of content grows, so the page can become a little bit unwieldy. Now, I'm not saying it necessarily will. Not everybody puts huge amounts of content onto here, but if you do, and if you find that it is becoming a little bit difficult to use, you might find that the alternative template is more suited to your needs. So let's have a quick look at that. Superficially, it looks the same to start with. It's contained within this purple box, but it's got three links here, and obviously it's envisaged that you'll be breaking down your module information into three sections, and they're titled here, Explore the Subject Further Reading and Get Involved. That's what was requested. This template is particularly useful if you've got more interactive material, discussion forums, for example, or competitions, things like that, when you want to keep that separate from some of the more documentary information. So it doesn't really matter which template you use. What we're going to look at today is how you actually go about implementing it, because you do need to create your own pages. Now, I'm going to use Department Program Page Template 2 here, because that's the more complicated one, but hopefully as I'm going through that, you'll understand how you would translate all of this guidance for this template here, because it's much simpler to do. But let's tackle the more complicated one. So to do that, notice that all of these templates start with the word department, so they all start with a D. And I'm going to go to my pages section, and I'm going to come down to the Ds, and notice that I've got them here, Department Program Page 1, 2 and 3. I'm interested in 2. I don't want to edit the template page itself, that would stop other people using it, so instead I'm going to come across here to the More Options menu, and I'm going to duplicate it. And it creates a copy. I know it's a copy because it's got the word copy in the title. I can then edit that copy and I can rename it. And I recommend that you do that straight away, because other people might be doing this at a similar time to you. You don't want to get confused with multiple copies with very similar names. So I'm going to call this one BA Philosophy. And I'll just leave it at that. I'll just click save, and it's created the page. Notice it's left it in place. It hasn't moved it just yet. Next time I come to this page, it'll have moved it all down, or actually in this case it'll have moved it up with the B's, but I can just click on that page now, and you can see I've now got my own version of this page. I can edit this without affecting the template itself, and I can do that very easily just by clicking edit. And notice straight away there's some text on this page that needs to be changed, so I could change this one to philosophy. There we go. Notice space required, and down here there's some more pointy brackets. Anything between pointy brackets needs to be deleted and replaced, so here I could say philosophy program. Okay. probably about as much as I want to do here. You can add more information if you want to. There's no reason why you couldn't extend the content on this page. Notice whilst I'm editing, you can see here there's some accessibility features. This little box here at the top of this table, that contains information for screen readers. Don't mess around with that. It doesn't look like there's anything there, but there is. It's just hidden because it doesn't need to be visible to the human eye. It's just very useful if so you're using a screen reader because you've got visual impairment, or you're not able to interact with web pages using a mouse and that sort of thing. So just leave that in place, but by all means extend the content on this page if you want to. However, it's envisaged that most of the module information available here is going to be accessible using one of these three buttons. For some reason only two of them are showing up at the moment, but I think that's just because the page isn't loaded. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to need to create 3 additional pages, and then I'm going to have to link them from here. So how do I do that? Well, if I go back to the Pages screen, you'll see that there is no template page for these. There's nothing under Explore the Subject, for example, on here with the ease. So I'm going to have to create these pages from scratch. So I'm going to start off here, and I'm going to say BA, and I can say BA Philosophy, Explore the Subject. Just save that. And I could then go back to Pages, and I could create a new one here, and I'll call this one BA Philosophy Further Reading. And finally, back to the Pages screen and create one for BA Get Involved. Fine. I've only created blank pages at the moment, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, I can then just go back on my browser, go back to the main BA Philosophy page. Remember, this is mine, this is the one I've been editing. Now at this stage I probably want to create some links between this module information page and the various sub pages, if you like, behind it. So to do that, I'm going to click on Edit, and I'm going to select the image in the table here. Now I don't know what link or where that link is taking me at the moment, so the first thing I'm going to do is just remove that link, come up to the toolbar on the Rich Content Editor, select Course Links, so Page, and from here I can just select BA Philosophy, Explore the Subject, and it just creates that link for me, very easy. Similarly for this one, just come up to the Rich Content Editor toolbar, bring down the hyperlink options, select Course Links, Pages, and this time Further Reading. Notice I don't actually have to go through that process. If I'm doing all of this together, I can just click on there and select Get Involved. So once you've created the pages, although that takes a little bit of time to start with, linking the pages to your main module information or main program information page is very straightforward. Just save that now, and I can test those links. So that takes me to Explore the Subject, that takes me to Further Reading, and this takes me to Get Involved. Now of course what I haven't done yet is I haven't added any content. You aren't able to do any of this at the moment, which is why I'm doing this at breakneck speed. It's just an overview. But what you can be doing is you can be thinking about the content that you want to put on here. You can be creating that content if it needs to be created, or pulling it together, and you can start to prepare for the creation of these courses and the tasks that you're going to be required to do at that point in time. Now I've already pointed out that some of the content that you create may well be interactive. It might involve discussion forums, it might involve group areas and that kind of thing, it might involve quizzes, audits, all that kind of stuff. How would you add those to a template like this one? Well, actually it isn't very straightforward to do that. It is possible actually. You can create a discussion forum, you can get a link like you can for any Canvas page, and you could create a link on a page which would take students directly to the discussion forum if you wanted to do that. That's straightforward to do, and we'll cover that in the training. But there is another way that you can go about doing it as well. I want to show you this because it did prove useful last year. Okay, if I go to the modules page, you are probably from your own use of Canvas accustomed to using modules like this. And you'll notice that I've previously created one called BA in Philosophy. If you hadn't already done that, you could just use the Add Module button up here to create one, but to save a bit of time, I did that earlier. So I'm just going to drag that up to the top to make it a bit easier for me to find it. And having created that module, I can very quickly add the pages that I created earlier. So I can go to Pages, and I can add BA Philosophy, and I can add BA Philosophy Explore the Subject, and Further Reading, and Get Involved. So adding this content to a module only takes a very short amount of time. And having done that, if I go to the BA Philosophy page, and I go to something like Explore the Subject, notice that it's now added these next and previous buttons. And let's say, for example, I was working in my Get Involved page, and I wanted to create a discussion forum. I could edit this page, and I might have information about the competition, what I expected the students to do, and I could then just say to submit your entry, click next. Below. Okay, I could save that. So I've got that simple instruction there. And if I click next at the moment, it's not going to do anything because there's nothing there for it to go. But if I go back to my modules page, I could now create a discussion forum, let's say. I haven't got any discussion forums on this course yet. Well, actually I have created a few dummy ones there, but I'm not too interested in that. I'm going to create a topic, and I'm going to call this Philosophy Competition. And I can add that item. Obviously there's a bit of work to do on the discussion forum itself. I'd have to explain to students what's expected of them and so on. They might need some instructions about how to submit and all of that kind of thing. But for our purposes now, I can just go back to the philosophy page. Students can go to the Get Involved page, and if they then click on Next, they'll get taken to the forum page. So just a note at the end there about how you can integrate your module information and some of the communication or collaboration tools that you might want to use if you're doing more kind of interactive stuff. Okay, now I'm nearly done, notwithstanding the fact that I've got to add all of that information, but for my purposes here today I'm nearly done. All I really need to do is now create a link from the landing page to my BA Philosophy program information, and I'm going to do that by copying the URL for this page. So remember, every page in Canvas has its own web address. I'm just going to copy that. I'm using the Ctrl+C command on my keyboard, and I'm then going to go to the home page, and you can edit your home page. And if I scroll down here, I'm going to find the next available link on that table. There it is. And I'm just going to edit the first part of that text. So I'm going to call this one BA Philosophy. And I can then select that text, and I can use the link tool on my Rich Content Editor toolbar. I'm just going to paste that URL in there. Done. There we go. And I'm going to update the syllabus. And my work is done. I can now click on that link, taken to my BA Philosophy page, and not only have I created all the pages I need for exploring the subject, further reading and getting involved, I've also linked those to here. So all I need to do is click on those links, edit the page and add the content.